To your point, episode 3 is officially back. I am Chris Phillips. He is Blake Ruffino, joining you once again. Folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we're powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $200 in bonus bets today. This is To Your Point. It is episode number 3. I am Chris Phillips. Joining me once again, as he always does, my good friend, my colleague, my partner in crime here, and someone that I'm going to be running into in just a few short days. My guy, Blake Ruffino, joins the show. Blake, what's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time. Excited to chop it up with you once again. You and I both have been on the road, getting a little R&R in, little vacation, working on our tans, if you're me. So it's good to be back.
I don't know if you can see this great Dago olive skin here, but I'm
getting a little bit of shine, a little bit of glow.
You looked a little I was on the pale side.
I was on the pale side.
Okay, I wasn't trying to be rude, but I was on the pale side. Yeah, you look a little good here, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know if I know you saw the picture, Blake. When it really hit me was when I went down to Gainesville and I was standing next to Colby Shelton, and I mean he is a Caucasian male. He is a white guy, obviously, but I'm standing next to him and his legs are like so dark. And I was so pale next to him, and I just didn't realize how pale I was. So I was like, all right, we got to – I mean, dude, the dude's in Florida, obviously. Listen, there was no mistake. I've been in the studio grinding. I haven't been in the sun enough. So we fixed that over the last few weeks. But
and here's the thing too, Chris. When you get older, you're not outside a lot, right? Unless you work outside. And then the guys that work outside, go look at any of your construction workers. They're not wearing short sleeves, not most of them. What are they doing? They're wearing long sleeves and pants because, I mean, they work in a tough job. I mean, the farmer's tan that I collected this weekend, grade A farmer's tan. Like the scale of 1 to 10 of farmer's tan, I'm pushing a 9.3 right now. I did take the muscle shirt off. You know, your boy lost 100, got the trap game working, got the little cut. And I'm just like sitting there, and then this guy comes out like 275 pounds chiseled, and I put my shirt back on. I'm like, I'm not doing this, you know. But for anybody that knows, we did go to the beach. It was really good. You know, Chris, we brought up this segment a couple times. We really didn't get into it about like credentials. But you know what I was thinking this whole week? Number one, I found out something about my business, like premiering episodes, like, and this is nothing to like anybody who's not a content creator, but it's so interesting to like being able to digress for a week and get some R&R like you talked about. Now I'm like more fired up, you know, like it's sometimes we forget like how much you need to just like take yourself away, get away for a little bit and get back into it. And you know what? You got to do that in sports too. And I think a lot of teams in the SEC baseball wise, look at the teams that are struggling. You had Auburn 2 weeks ago. You had Texas a little bit. You had Auburn, who came off a 3-week stretch, Chris. It was borderline elite to some of the things that they had done. So I think that, like, I watch sports and that, like, things tell me this all the time. Hey, man, take some R&R. And then it's like, hey, I don't even listen to my own instruction, you know? Like, but even in SEC baseball, we're starting to see some of this fatigue, okay, I think. And now that you're past the halfway mark, you're getting into 2/3 of the season, I do think that we're starting to see a lot of really good baseball here the last stretch. So I know we'll talk about that, but I thought it was funny how, like, I went through it. You know, baseball teams around the SEC are doing it. So here's to some R&R.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need it, man. To your point, it's easy to get so wrapped up in the social media chase. I mean, I know I can speak for me, and it's a little bit less now because we've got a great team we've assembled, Blake. So before, when I was a solopreneur, and I'm sure you feel this way at times, where it's like there's a lot more pressure on you than I think you even realize, because you're like, if I don't do anything, nothing gets done. So that's been the greatest. That's been the greatest gift, if you will, of scaling and expanding for me, is like, you know, we've got other guys where, hey, if I were to just take a personal day, or go out of town, there are other people working behind the scenes doing different things to where the business can run essentially flawlessly without
Right.
me being on the controls. That's the beautiful part. That's the type of business I want to scale and grow into.
Well, it was a hell of a week that we missed.
Yeah, I mean, we missed it. I mean, again, we weren't as locked in as normal, but I mean, I can't stay away from it. I know you can't stay away from it.
No,
There was
I
a
was
run
sitting at the
going on.
beach. I
Yeah.
was sitting at the beach, and then all of a sudden, I literally, this is no joke. I said this on Rufino and Joe show. I got 2 calls from people around Tulane when this whole Nico thing, and I know we'll talk about it. And they were like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Big dog, I'm on the beach. But he goes, "Well, I'll just say this. One of the sources at Tulane I was talking to, he goes, "Well, why did you answer the phone?" He goes, "Brother," I was like, "I'm like TNT, baby. I love drama. Like, I want to know what's going on, TNT, I know drama." So I couldn't stay away, man. I just couldn't. Like, even in that, like, I could, and I know we'll get into it, but and even another thing we'll talk about. How you going to retire a man's jersey that went 13 and 12?
Yeah, I got some strong feelings on that. I took to Easter Sunday to for whatever reason voice my thoughts on it.
My brother texted me your tweet and was like, "Damn, Chris is pissed on this Jesus."
Yeah, I don't know. I woke up. I woke up and chose violence. But I was going to say before we get into it all, because we do have a lot to get into.
Yes.
Speaking of the tan thing, this is just for me personally. You're doing well. Things are going well in life when you're playing a lot of golf. For me, that's my big hobby, and I'm playing a lot of golf. You know how I know that, brother? I'm not going to show it on the show because I surely ain't going to show it for free. But if I look down at my feet right now, the tan line that I have where it looks like I am wearing footy socks, like my legs are like a nice crisp brown, and my feet are still like a light white, if you will. I've got that golf tan on the legs going, hey, life is good. The economy is good. That they always say, Blake, you can tell how good the economy is doing. If you go out and play golf, there's a lot of broken tees on the tee box. A lot of people are playing golf. Hey, economy's doing pretty good. Although I don't really know that it is. We don't have to get into that, but we don't have to get into that. But yeah, I'm using this time to play a lot of golf. So it's Monday, many people probably saw on the timeline. I was out at Athens Country Club. By the way, I've made it a new goal, Blake. I think I told you this because I've always shelved the golf clubs during the football season. Essentially, like when we get to August, it's like, hey, we're just as well as anybody.
You got to grind in, baby.
The football blitz is on. Like, there's no time to mess around. Like, this is kind of, to your point, the time of year where it's, if you're going to take some time, if you're going to do some other things, if you're going to detach, if you're going to vacation, if you're going to whatever, now's a great time of year to do that because, once you hit the football blitz, we are go, 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 go nonstop. But I'm going to try to, when we go on these travels, I'm going to try. My new goal is to play every university course in the SEC and review them all. So any SEC golf programs that just want free pub, free exposure, I'm more than happy to take we've got the camera here. I'm more than happy to take the camera around, vlog it, put you on full display. I would love that. I mean, I just love golf. So it'd be, and I've had buddies ask me, they're like, "You going to get into SEC golf?" I'm like, I mean, I don't know how much of a, how much of a market there is for it, but I'd do it. I mean, if a golf coach wants to have me out, I'll gladly do it.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you this. As someone who's learned his lesson when I talked about Title IX in the House case, there's a lot of people out there that love SEC swimming. So then I started looking into it. First off, let's put some clothes on to some of this. Like, I mean, good Lord. I mean, you can't watch it with your wife. If you're married, you got a girlfriend, don't watch it with your wife. You don't do it. Like, good Lord, God bless Jesus. Okay, but dude, there's a niche market in some of these things, right? But I don't know. Here's the problem with that. I don't know if they'll be around as official sports. I think they'll be club sports moving forward. So even then, I think you're taking a dive into a market that might not be there, Chris.
Which I wonder if you're a guy that goes to an SEC school, and there's a good bit of them that you realistically can play on the PGA Tour, like play professional golf. Like, I wonder if you go a different route. Dude, if you're telling me it's going to be the equivalent of a club sport, I mean,
I heard it pitched on a golf podcast. I'm not a massive golf guy.
Right.
I heard it pitched that Live Golf was thinking about doing a junior like minor league type of system. And they got the money
let's
to
take
do it.
more Saudi money. That's a good way to fix things.
Well, who's behind this is the girl that, first off, rest in peace, Carson Beck's love life, but was Kai Trump.
Kai Trump, yeah.
Yeah, in that video with the Cavender twins.
Yeah.
That's what got missed and all that. What they're talking about is her talking about, are our sports going to be around? And the Cavender twins goes in there and like, Carson Beck's a dick. And I'm like, okay, here we go, baby. Let's get into the
Talk about some drama. I didn't even put that in the notes. Do you want to start there, though?
Let's start
just really quickly. I saw the clip this morning, actually. I did not watch it until probably 48 hours until it came out because I just don't really care, to be honest. But it is interesting. Apparently, Carson Beck is not a great dude. Per them.
Let's get to this. At the quarterback position, you have to be a very good decision maker. Now, this is what people will say in the comments. There's a lot of good decisions you can make in the city of Miami, and I fully understand that. But when you got somebody like that, don't be an idiot. And listen, Carson Beck proved on and off the field that he's an idiot. He can be an idiot. Okay. Chris, he had 9 interceptions against ranked opponents in 3
weeks.
Blake,
I followed Georgia last year for I think it was 3 straight weeks. I was at the
he had 9
cocktail party, Oxford, and then the Tennessee game in Athens. And Tennessee game, obviously, that was kind of when he came back to life. But yeah, I saw him make some, and I was at the Georgia Bama game.
Right.
I saw him make some just outrageous throws. I'll never forget at the cocktail party because I was sitting in the end zone having like his line of sight view, and he delivered a ball, Blake, and you're like, there are 4 Florida guys just in that vicinity waiting, and it got picked off. I'm like, I don't even know what he's looking at.
Well, and people blame Mike Bobo for that, which Georgia got 3 massive portal hauls, which worst thing that could have happened to the SEC was that Kirby lost and got pissed off. But look, I was lighthearted in reference to the decision making, but then kind of I'm not, in the sense, Chris, he came out last year and said that he doesn't watch football outside of football, right? Like,
we kind of defend him when he first said that. We were like, hey, like a lot of guys kind of get away, but see, it looks worse when you don't play well. It looks way worse.
Was the point. Well, that was my point. Was like, hey, if Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady all come out here and say something like that, fine. But here's the thing, Chris, nobody in life can go through just meandering around and be successful. Unless you have you're a trust fund baby and you get bailed out, but then you got to get bailed out, right? And that's the point. Now, the Cavender thing, listen, as someone who covered a high-profile relationship with Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn, which we talked about in our last episode, the overall draw that you get if you're Carson Beck, how many honeys you think hit him up?
A pretty fair amount. I think a fair, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
now,
I don't care how ugly he is. He is rich, and Miami's QB1, and I mean, he is an ugly sumbitch. Let's just call it what it is now. I got nothing against Carson, baby. He's a goofy looking son of a bitch. He's a Sid the Sloth looking motherfucker.
Oh God. He very much,
but he's rich, and he's a football player.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I got to ask you a question.
But a lot of girls will see that drama and be like, "I could fix him." Anyways, continue.
Well, okay, that's where I was going to go. I mean, they think that they can be a part of that. But here's the thing. Right. He cheated on the hottie. He went the transfer portal and got paid, and his Lambo got stole. You know what that tells me? The U might be back. That's what it tells me. The U might be back because of the fact that they got this much chaos. Miami doesn't thrive until chaos like this starts. That's what I know. But in all seriousness, listen, I used to tell teammates this in college, like, brother, unless you're about to make this woman your wife, like, live your life, brother. Like, and I mean that in all seriousness. Like, we put down on him. We don't know that he cheated. She said he cheated. We don't know that he cheated. I mean, we only have one side of the story. So listen, They weren't married. If you're married and you make a commitment to somebody, fine. I despise, for what it's worth, another man or woman cheating on their spouse. I think that you're a low life sometimes when you do that. Married, especially if you have kids, you're not just cheating on your wife or your husband, you're cheating on the kids. So that's not this, though. And I think that we take it a little too far with him. But I will say this. He's proving on and off the field that he's a horrible decision maker. There's no way that I'm cheating on a honey like that. No way. I found my wife.
Especially a honey with her platform. Like,
exactly.
Pick and choose your battles, my guy.
Well, there's no way I'm doing that. And I would never cheat on my wife. First off, Cajun women will kill you. Chris, I would be gutted like a slaughtered hog, okay, when LSU and Arkansas face off for the Golden Boot. I would be gutted, okay? I'm not cheating on no Cajun woman. Are you an idiot? And I'm not saying Cavender is, but I mean, again, I don't think that here's the real question that I asked in a serious football note. Might be the best thing for Georgia.
You know what the rumblings out of Athens are, Blake. And again, I was just for those that don't know, Monday may have seen my social media. I was, like I said, at Athens Country Club, played in the Georgia Football Hall of Fame golf tournament. There were a lot of who's who of Athens, NIL, former players. Heck, former players as of like last year. Dan Jackson was playing in that thing. So the chatter is that Georgia might be shopping around in the quarterback market. So
if they do that, they got to make a move quickly. Now, Steve Angeli.
Two names.
Okay, give them to me.
Sam Levitt, Avery Johnson. Two names.
Can I tell you something?
I think they like Gunner, Blake. They don't love Gunner. And I think in this world,
he's not
man,
better than Puglisi.
Well, he's not. I think he will start over Puglisi because he knows the offense. He's a veteran. I think Kirby would go that route. We know he likes those veteran signal callers. From what I've been told, Puglisi's like got the wow factor, but doesn't really know the offense like that. And Gunner does. He's been in the system. I mean, heck, I didn't think he was bad against Notre Dame. He's not why they lost. Can
I interrupt you then?
Yeah.
Then if you're talking about somebody that doesn't know the offense and is chaotic, then Avery Johnson's out. Okay, so you can make you can tell me all that and you can talk about all that. Brother, did y'all watch Avery? See, Chris, I could go on a whole tangent on this. The draft is this week. I see NFL media talking about this guy's a beast. My brother in Christ, you don't watch college football like that then. Brother, we got Saints fans down here thinking Spencer Rattler is an NFL franchise quarterback. Get out of my face with that kind of shit. But there also comes a point in time, though, then Avery Johnson's not your guy. Now, Sam Levitt, okay, you pull that off. All right, then. I mean, when you shake the entire secondary literally in a playoff game versus Texas, all right, fine, my brother can move. But here's the problem that I have with all of this. The problem that I have in doing something like that, then Kirby, everything that you said on the podium about tampering, everything that you talked about 2 weeks ago about there's some of my players that these agents are shopping. My guy, you're doing it. So you want to go out there and make a clip, and then you're out here behind the scenes doing it your damn self. That's the point that I've been trying to make about this shit, about NIL and all that. Good on Kirby for doing it. I'm not saying he shouldn't be doing it. It's kind of like the Saban thing when he called out Jimbo Fisher, right? I'm warning all of you, don't give me this leeway because I'm going to roast all of you, and he did. The problem is that I have an issue with you going out there if you're Kirby and saying Chris, we talked about that 2 weeks ago. Kirby's like out there saying, oh, hey, there's players on with these agents that are calling around shopping for players. Then what are you doing?
They're all doing it, man.
Don't go out to a podium. Don't go out to a podium and make a big stink about it when you're doing it. It's two-faced.
Yeah, I will say I think Kirby, I think he hates it, but it is one of those things, adapt or die. You have to do it. And what I've been told too on the Kirby Smart note, again, yesterday talking to a lot of folks, and this is not the first time I've heard this, but I mean, the feeling is 5 years maximum Kirby's got left. And I think Kirby's big motivating factor from what I've been told, he wants to prove he can win one, like in this era with all this madness going on. I think as soon as I think if Georgia won the national title this year, he might walk. I think he might just hang it up. I do not think, from what I've been told, Kirby is he's a football guy, man. He's cut from the cloth of Saban. Like he's a football guy. He does not want to deal with all this other nonsense. So I think he will to win. I think he will to win a title, but Kirby is not going to be a Bobby Bowden, even a Saban. I'd give Kirby 5 years max, man. Which is crazy to say, but
the only thing that I would counteract that is that the House case in the NCAA did come down yesterday. Let's not get into that. It's too late.
Maybe if regulations and things change, but if things don't change,
bingo.
Nah, he's out.
I can see that. I can see that. And listen, to your point, I understand like adapt or die, but I also understand like don't come out there and make a big to do about it when you're doing it. And Chris,
don't be the spokesperson.
Chris, exactly. Well, it was the same thing with me with Saban, right? I said the same thing about Saban. So Saban went out there and called out Jimbo. Keyshawn Boutte, if you remember, when all this really started, went to the podium and said that he could prove that Alabama was contacting him when Brian Kelly came in. By the way, nothing was done about it.
Wasn't it Saban on the game day set that said he was like, or no, it was last year at the draft when he said that Toledo defensive back. He was like, yeah, we were reaching out to him trying to get him to go in the portal, which I don't think he meant to, which he kind of outed himself saying that. Like they were like, yeah, we were trying to get him to come to Bama.
But see, here's the thing though. To his point, what are you going to do about it? Like, so David Stone went in the portal. But by the way, David Stone on Easter weekend went full Jesus mode. He went in the portal. He came back on Sunday. You can't resurrect yourself and go back to the school, Jesus. You can't be SEC Jesus, okay? That's number one. Number two, the problem with that is, okay, teams are literally calling in front of head coaches. Do you think that Mario Cristobal, who, with this whole David Stone thing, do you really think Mario Cristobal wasn't on the phone at all this weekend with David Stone? Then you're a blithering idiot, right? Like you're a blithering idiot. So I don't want people to be spokespeople or spokespersons out there when you're doing it. That's the point. It's so hypocritical. And then, Chris, it comes to a whole another point. This whole SEC to SEC thing where you can't transfer in the spring. Says who? And then you get
I did like what Kirby said about that. He's like, you know who loves that rule? Everybody not in the SEC.
Exactly. Yeah. But here's the point that I'm trying. Why is that rule enforced and no others are? Why is that specific rule upheld when nothing else is upheld? Please tell me. Listen, did you watch any baseball this weekend? And I mean you, Chris, but the people listening. Sankey ran out there on Sunday and defended on Easter Sunday and defended the umpires after the weekend that the SEC just had. Listen, this man, I'm telling you, Chris, the SEC has a problem. People think I'm crazy. I will call it out when I see it. They have an issue of what they're like. The leadership there, they have an issue. I love Sankey and what he's done. Have a spine. You got to have a spine to get legislation passed. You have to. So there comes to a point in time, I don't want my head coach of any program to be the voice. I want them to be somebody saying, hey, we're going to go behind Greg Sankey behind this. He can take the arrows because he's not coaching a team. But we can uphold the SEC to SEC rule. Get out of my face with that. Get out of my face with that. That's such BS. If David Stone wanted to go to Tennessee tomorrow and he sued the SEC, there's a federal mandate that says that there's nothing that they can do. And you think that you're going to stop it. Get out of my face with that. I'm so fed up with this shit.
This is a great segue, Blake, into the latest, the Nico Iamaleava, the Iamaleava family drama. Now we've got, what is it, Madden? What's his name? Madden Iamaleava. He's also, and he's heading to UCLA, leaving Arkansas, heading to UCLA, even though I believe he flipped on signing day. Yes, from UCLA to Arkansas. Our guy Dave Shoemate and myself, but Dave especially, really, really tight with those in the building at Arkansas. Apparently, Madden told the coaching staff that it was because he is quote unquote homesick, which is the biggest crock of shit of all time. He is going there because Nico's going there. I'm sure I know there's some financial competition. Blake, we just saw the first ever true trade in college football. You see, I'm rocking the App State shirt. This just felt right today. Hey, for those that don't know, I've born and raised a soft spot for App State. I've traveled to that area, love that area. Heck, I've even got the mini helmet in the studio. I got a soft spot for App State. So, Joey Aguilar, congratulations. Go get your bag. Apparently, he is the new QB1 for Tennessee. He goes from UCLA to Tennessee, and Nico goes to UCLA. It's a mess, though. This family is a complete mess. I'm hearing apparently, the rumor, by the way, Blake, is that there is some discontent in the family between Nico's father and mother. Apparently, like, they're in a bit of a situation because the mother feels like the agent and these others affiliated with her son, they've ruined his life, which I don't think she's totally wrong in that regard. Dude, it's a complete shit show. But yeah, I'll tell you this. I've been saying this, Blake, and I want to get your thoughts. College football, and I don't know if it should be viewed this way. I think it is for the most part. College football needed this to happen from the standpoint of they needed the portal and bag chasing to blow up in somebody's face, and I think it blew up in Nico's face enough. Probably not as much as I even would have liked, but I think it blew up in his face enough where maybe there's some natural course correction. I don't know. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but college football needs some of these guys entering the portal. They need it to backfire on them. They need it to, man.
At a high-profile level, you're right. On the surface, from what everybody sees, yes, it looked like it backfired.
I mean, he's not getting nearly the money he asked for. Not even close. Not even close.
Let me ask you this question. Do you really think it was about money? Do you really think that he was trying to renegotiate? Let me tell you my thought process. You know good and damn well that they knew that they weren't going to make $4 million. They knew it. You can't convince me that they thought that they would make $4 million. Here's what I think happened. I think that the kid got in a lot of spotlight, and that Ohio State game broke them, the family and Nico. Brother, his helmet got cracked. When his helmet got cracked, you do know that he went 0 for 7 in the third quarter after his helmet got cracked. Okay, I think that they wanted to get out a little bit out of the spotlight, and money was just money at that point. I really do. Now, people will say, Blake, you're the one that's always in here champion money talks and bullshit walks, and I do stand by that. I think the kid couldn't take the pressure. I really don't think he could take the pressure, and I think that the excuse that they came out with, Chris, was money. They came out with the offense does not curtail to me, which is BS. Okay,
it's BS because like a month ago he was saying like, yeah, I feel really good in the offense and giving that spring ball talk, but it's like, come on, bro. That's
and you went out there and you went to UCLA. You said the offense didn't cater to you, and then you went to UCLA. You're an idiot. Okay, that's not the reasoning. You're an idiot. No, there's no way that you thought that. But there also comes a part in time where I look at this and say, I think they knew that they would get less money. Chris, I don't. I told you this last episode. Coincidences don't happen. Both of them going to UCLA that quickly. Chris, he entered the portal, and within 8 hours, he was at UCLA. He was already there in the building.
Yeah, I mean, he knew. Yeah,
he knew. Yeah, so they knew where they were going. So the point that I'm trying to make here is, I don't think that I think that the reason the money came up and they asked for $4 million is because, number one, the kid didn't want to be there unless you gave him something outrageous. The money wasn't worth. The money would be worth the pressure if you paid it. That's what. Now you go to the West Coast, you're kind of out of the spotlight at UCLA, right? Kind of like out of the whole like SEC footprint. Now that's what I think. Now I will tell you this. I told you to start off the show that Tulane contacted Nico's family. The perception that they got was, number one, that they knew where they were going, which we all kind of knew. But number two, that the kid did not want to be under that amount of pressure.
He would be under that amount of pressure at Tulane.
Well, that's the point.
And this is no disrespect to Tulane, but I mean,
they said like they were asking the question of, what is your real reason for going in the portal? Before we take you, we want to know the reason for you to go in the portal. They didn't entertain Tulane. Sources. Bum, 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 bum. They never entertained Tulane. Tulane never entertained them. I mean, on the handy dandy I Blake right here, I can tell you for a fact they didn't entertain it like that. So anybody reporting that is bullshit. But there also comes a part where that the dad said something in a meeting with Tulane that I don't think that they wanted the pressure. I really think that had something to do with it. Now, is that soft as shit? Yeah. But at the same time,
all you're telling me is Nico's soft. And I didn't really know that.
Well,
Nico's soft. I mean,
Chris, you're going to have to explain to me, do you really believe that an agent thought that he would hit the open market when he could not go in the SEC, knowing the Big Ten quarterback footprint at the current moment, that they would make $4 million? There is no way that they thought that. None. That's the biggest lie out there. But here's the thing, too. To the dad, calling Pete Nakos a bitch, calling people all this stuff. No, my guy. Chris, I have 2 children, and I'm never going to tell another man how to raise their children. But one thing is for certain. You can't run from adversity. If you're running from adversity while you're making $2.5 million, what are you going to do when you're making 10?
Well, you know what the issue is, Blake. You've got people that are speaking out on these kids' behalf and facilitating deals or trying to play agent that have never been in those situations before in their entire lives. It's like, how would you know what to do? Chris, how do you know how to act? That's why you see him acting out of pocket.
Chris, do you remember Demonic Williams last offseason, the big defensive tackle that went to Oklahoma?
Yes.
You know it's the same agent.
Okay, well.
So the one that was bidding against everybody and lying to everybody, by the way, I tweeted this to the agent. He never responded to me. I tweeted at him twice. There's a reason he didn't respond. I literally said, screenshots never die. Test me. Okay? About the Demonic Williams thing. Do not test your boy. Because the level of pissed off that I am at this dude, Coach Landers is who it is. Get out of my face. Chris, he was more worried about, from what I was told, whether it be Nico or whatever kid he's representing, I was told and have proof he was more worried about his percentage than the kid's money.
Yeah, there's a lot of people playing agent right now that don't know what the hell they're doing. A ton of them. That's one of the biggest problems. You could argue the biggest is just we talk about leadership and lack thereof.
No doubt.
It's the blind leading the blind. I mean, well, what credentials do you need to be an agent today?
None. Chris, we have an agency firm here in New Orleans, okay? You do know that all the buddies that are accountants in that building are not focusing on the NFL. It's your draft week. The NFL has a structure of what these guys will make when they get drafted. There's no real work, right? Their job really is to try to push for their client to make more to NFL teams. There's a structure that's based there. Chris, they making 15 to 20% in college when they're making 3 to 5% in the NFL. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, I would make the same amount of money for a smaller deal. Like Ross Dellinger came out and said the average quarterback with TV revenue share and with NIL, the average SEC starter is going to make $3 million. You wonder why Diego Pavia sued the federal government? Well, I would sue them too if I was going to make an average of $3 million.
I mean, he's getting 7 figures to be back. Think about how significant that is at Vanderbilt.
Right
at Vanderbilt.
Chris, I want to throw this out there too before I forget. You've watched Joey Aguilar more than probably anybody in the SEC, okay? Because you're right there. You talk about the soft spot. I remember
I saw him last year in person. I went and watched App State against South Alabama. Yeah.
All right. Let me throw this out there. It's a complete 180 of a quarterback that you're getting. In reference to this, you know this better than most. Joey Aguilar don't give a damn. He does not.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
But here's the thing that I would warn Tennessee fans on. I saw a lot today about their fan base talking about he's one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. No, he's not.
No. I was going to ask you, did you think that they won the trade? I'll be honest with you. Even watching App State, like he's a dog. He's a gunslinger. I didn't think he was a great quarterback even at App State. I don't. I mean, like, there's a part of me that I'm like, all right, if anybody can elevate his game, get the most out of him, it's going to be Josh Heupel. But
yeah,
I'm not.
Well,
I'm not all that fired up about like Tennessee's quarterback situation. And like, I wish Joey Aguilar nothing but the best. But again, I didn't even think he was great at App. Now he's gonna go against SEC defenses and be that dude.
The only thing that I would say would be if you remember the 23 year when they upset a couple of teams, remember? They started out, what was it, 7-0, 8-0, whatever it was.
I will say his offensive line last year also was not.
They got obliterated by the portal. Well, they got obliterated by the portal, and
because remember that 23 year they had the two running backs that went to Mizzou.
Yeah.
Nate Noel and
Noel, right?
Yeah. So,
well, I will say this in Heupel's offense, Chris. I don't know. I don't know if they figure some things out at receiver. I do think that there's a chance that he can perform because of the fact that he's not scared to throw the football. But, Chris, I mean, we talked about like a lot of quarterbacks in the SEC that have turned the ball over. I mean, Arch Manning, for crying out loud, threw 2 picks against Mississippi State and then not Mississippi State, ULM. Okay, like you can't turn the ball over. By the way, the defenses in the SEC this year, hot take. No, actually, it's not a hot take. Good luck. Good luck. Chris, look, we're not even in the midst of football season really yet because we're in baseball season, but you know I do it all year round. Like it's all that I do. Good luck. The defenses in the SEC this year are back. People would say, well, what about Georgia? Brother, you do realize that they have 5 five-star defensive linemen that they're replacing their starters with. You Rudy poo. Okay? Like, don't come at me with that. I do think that some of these defensive players, Texas has the best front 7 in the country. Not a debate. Not a debate. Good luck. Good luck. It's like I feel like I'm Liam Neeson in that movie. What was it, Ransom or whatever? Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Caleb Banks is a dog. So Joey Aguilar might be seeing ghosts by week 3.
Where do you like just off the top of the dome? Where do you put him? Middle of the pack? Is he like 11th or 12th? Like
I would want to go through a list.
Yeah.
I would say this.
He's bottom 3rd for me.
I would put him at bottom 3rd because the interceptions have to scare the outright shit out of you.
Yeah. What did he throw? 14 last year?
He threw 14. 7 of them came in 1 month. The bigger problem for App was their defense, by the way, because I was at that South Alabama game, and by the way, dog. I don't know if I missed it where he's going. Was it Gio Lopez, their quarterback? Yeah, Gio Lopez. I saw him up close and personal.
He balled in that game. Yeah, because South Alabama played LSU, right?
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
That was the game. I don't know if
he's going to North Carolina.
Okay, UNC.
Lopez. Yeah, he's going to UNC. Lopez.
He's a dog. Yeah, he's a dog because they hung like 50 on Appalachian State.
I thought that's where Tennessee was going to go. Now, Gio Lopez goes to Tennessee.
We'll see. I mean, I would love to see Joey Aguilar ball out, but I'm very skeptical of it. I'll be honest with you.
Let me throw this.
Hey, but is Joey better than Nico?
No, not right now. Not. Look, we talked a lot.
Nico was not very good last year. I mean,
right. We talked a lot of shit about Nico. Let's throw his ceiling over Joey Aguilar is massive.
No doubt. I just wonder, can Joey Aguilar give them equal to or even a little bit more production than Nico did last year?
Well, that's the point about the 180 because he's going to let that puppy rip now.
Yeah. And that's what Nico didn't do a lot of times.
That's exactly what Nico didn't do.
And then when he did let it rip, it seemed like he was missing those. How many shots did he miss now? I mean, I was at that Bama game. He missed some wide open guys.
He was 52.3% in passes over 15 yards. So he missed a lot, almost
15, not even like 25, over 15.
Yeah,
yards.
over 15. I have his stats right here because we talked about him last night. I would say this. My point would be this to end this with Tennessee. I think they did panic. I would have gone with Steve Angeli out of Notre Dame before I went with Joey Aguilar.
It felt like a we really want to win the breakup move.
Correct. It did. I can't tell you what I did last 2 nights ago when we got back from vacation. I started a dynasty on NCAA with Tennessee, and I benched Nico, and then it got through I simulated the season, and then cut his ass, and then turned the game off.
What'd they go?
They went 9-3, 10-3.
Even without him. Wow, there you go.
Yeah, even without the freshman Merklinger.
Don't sleep on Merklinger now.
Merklinger.
Jake Merklinger. Hey, we joke that might be a quarterback battle. I mean, straight up. I don't know if it's just.
Hold on. Tell me that this wouldn't be the best thing for SEC Media Days. I hope that Josh Heupel brings Joey Aguilar. Oh,
he'd be a great soundbite. He'd be a great soundbite.
He would.
That would also be a win the breakup kind of move by them. But I'm fascinated by it. We'll see.
Listen,
and I got to be honest. I'm not going to wish anyone poorly, obviously, but I will not shed a tear if Nico does not have a good year at UCLA.
Dude, they don't again.
Like you said, they're irrelevant. I mean, to me, and I know you cover college football nationally, Blake, so it's different. To me, UCLA football is irrelevant.
They are. They lost all their weapons. By the way, their schedule is brutal.
Yeah.
The Big Ten dumped on UCLA. They took a massive old dump on them. It's brutal. Chris,
the thing I remember the most about UCLA last year is when their coach went up at the podium in Big Ten Media Days and didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, and listen, they fired Eric Bieniemy. He blamed everything on Eric Bieniemy last year, which I think Eric Bieniemy's pissed off about getting fired and not getting his jersey number retired at Colorado. But I mean, dude, they're not good. They're not a good football team. But again, goes to the point that I made earlier. I think the kid wanted out of the spotlight. I really do. I don't think he's got dog in him.
It's just baffling to me, Blake. Like I just you and I like remove the money. I guess the spotlight pressure, which is outrageous to me, that's so soft, but like my bigger takeaway from all this, like, man, it used to mean something to be QB1 at Tennessee. Like the prestige that holds to be QB1 at LSU, to be QB1 at Georgia, to be QB1 at a SEC school. The fact that now means nothing is just, it's astounding to me. It's astounding. Yeah. Like, make all the jokes you want about Tennessee, but like, dude, some legends. I mean, it is an honor to be the starting quarterback for the Volunteers.
Think about this.
It is an honor.
Peyton Manning took over the job for MLB Hall of Famer Todd Helton. Think about that for a minute.
The fact that it just now means nothing blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like, what an honor. Like, to be the LSU starting quarterback. What an honor for those that have come before you. Like, well, and now it's just, you'll just up. And I know this is not an LSU thing, but there's a lot of probably Louisiana folks that are, it's just, that blows my mind. That really blows my mind. You missed the bigger picture, and it's on the parents. You're supposed to be able to paint the bigger picture for the kid. You didn't do it.
We have coddled, we have allowed for these kids to be coddled. Like I just brought up the jersey thing.
Yeah, that kind of leads us into that.
Okay, please tell me what Shedeur Sanders has done to get his number retired.
Yeah, it is the, and I sound like a boomer, I know, but it is the softest entitlement, participation trophy culture thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's outrageous. And you got former players at Colorado speaking out. I mean, dude, Travis Hunter, fine. He won the Heisman. Cool. But for Shedeur Sanders' number to be retired?
Yeah.
I mean, his most notable achievement at Colorado, Blake, was, I told him bust down my AP, perfect time, man. Like the song. That was his most notable achievement. His watch celebration. You got a celebration in EA College Football 25. What did you do? You didn't win a bowl game. You didn't win a title. I mean, you went 13-12. I mean, I know they went 9-3, but like that is you know what that is, Blake? Colorado, you were an unserious program. That is what an unserious program would do.
Well,
how does nobody step in? I know it's Dion. How does nobody step in and be like, no, this is no. Absolutely not.
Two things to that. Number one, when Dion's the top 5 paid head coach in the country per year. Okay. Do you know what their AD said about paying him that amount of money? He said that the exposure pays for itself. Retiring Shador's number, they're more worried about exposure than they are actual wins.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that I throw to you. How bad of a precedent have you set at the University of Colorado when a kid that didn't even win a bowl game, a kid that went 9-3 last year, and what if Caden Salter, the Liberty quarterback, goes in there and wins the Big 12? You better retire his number, right? Like, Chris, think about that. Think about what we're talking about. A kid that went 13-12 got his number retired, and Dion wanted. This is the all T-ball all-star selection type of situation here. My son gets put in with a Heisman Trophy winner. With all due respect to Shedeur Sanders, who will be a first-round pick on Thursday, with all due respect to him, Travis Hunter, you could not hold the accomplishment of Travis Hunter by the jockstrap. You can't do it. Chris, he played both ways. We've never seen that in the modern era. You retire his number 12 should be retired. He won a Heisman as a DB and receiver. Chris, okay. Like, that is not even up for debate. He went out there and blamed his offensive line and called them bums. You remember that? He called them bums at a press conference. And then his daddy made him sit them all back there. What? Like, we have allowed Dion to get away with so much other stuff because it's Dion. If Kirby Smart signed his son today and they won a national title and the kid went 13-12, what would we do? What would we do?
Yeah, we'd call him a bum.
we literally hold Dion to a different set of standards than any other college coach, but no other college coaches were the best DB in the ever. That doesn't matter. He's a coach now. You can't lump 2 and 2 together. But the precedent that's sent to everybody there. So let me ask you this. Hypothetically speaking, if Juju Lewis or Caden Salter leads you to a Big 12 title and you don't retire their number after what Shedeur did, what message do you send?
I mean, you got to retire everybody's number now.
They're not going to.
How about we get around to retiring the greats
national
of Colorado,
champions, the Hall of Famers,
a program that won a national championship.
Chris, I talked about this the other night. Think about this in modern day. Okay, I'm going to pull the list up for you of just SEC guys. Think about this. Here's a list of some guys that don't have their jersey number retired at their respective schools. You ready? Devonta Smith, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Cam Newton, Tim Tebow. Graham Mertz wore number 15 to start off the year. Florida is a load of bums for allowing any man to wear 15 again. Are you an idiot? Tim Tebow arguably was the best quarterback in the 2000s, and you're going to let another man wear his jersey? But to the point of the Shedeur thing, Tim Tebow doesn't have his jersey retired.
It's outrageous. I mean, it's outrageous.
By the way, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray have statues. Their numbers aren't retired. Now, like Matt Leinart and Reggie
Cam's got a statue. Tebow's got a statue.
Right, they got statues.
Right.
They don't have their jerseys retired. So that could be something else. Like, oh, well, you don't need it retired.
Well, and those guys we all mentioned, they also all deserve it. They won national championships. They won Heismans.
Imagine telling anybody on planet Earth watching the year of Cam Newton in 2010 and thinking for an inkling amount of time that you don't think that's the area that you're putting Shedeur Sanders in. Chris, when you retire somebody's number, you're putting them in the realm of those dudes. You put him in the realm with Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Kyler Murray, Johnny Manziel. Are we nuts?
I mean, I'm right there with you, man. To me, it encapsulates, and I know I sound like an old head, but it encapsulates today's culture, today's athlete, today's
it's participation
soft.
trophy.
Yeah, it's participation trophy. It's soft. Everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to get a medal. You know, it's like we no longer are recognizing elite. We're just everybody's great. Everybody's awesome. It's like, no, that's not. No, it is so soft. It is so incredibly soft.
Can I read something off to you very quickly?
Yeah.
And this is bad for me to do this. Colorado versus Oregon box score. Do you want to hear this? Because this is where they got their asses absolutely whooped. Shedeur Sanders, 23 of 33, 159 and 1 touchdown. You want to know his stats, by the way, from a rushing perspective? 10 rushes for negative 34 yards. Chris, think about this. You want to talk about daddy privilege? Let me tell you something about daddy privilege. Do you know that the last 2 years that they've averaged being the worst rushing team in the entire country, they threw the ball because his son was the quarterback. They were 130th this year. They were dead last year at 132nd. Please look it up. I'll bet you $20 billion right now that those stats are accurate. Trust me, I know them. They literally would throw the ball on 3rd and 1 to pad stats.
It doesn't shock me, though.
Unfortunately.
It shouldn't. Yeah.
I've never in my life been in a situation where what do you tell my son when you do it? What do you tell every son around America of what they can do? You cannot do that. Of course, we have national champions, Hall of Famers that they did not retire his jersey. The presidents, listen, I like Deion, and I like some of the things that Deion has done. And everybody thinks I'm a Deion hater. No, he's not. Deion, you got your jersey retired at Florida State. Your son has not done an inkling of what the other did, of what you did. Why didn't you retire the other son's jersey? Oh, you want me to tell you why? Because he was Rudy Poo sometimes.
Yeah, he was a bum. A lot of times he was a bum. So, Blake, before we go any further, let's talk about our dudes over at Melon. Want to give a shout out, Melon Hats. You see, we're both rocking it. Best hats in the game. I love these hats, by the way. Got mine in a few weeks ago. The durability, the comfort of these hats. Dude, I walk into, by the way, funny enough, I'm down in Hilton Head, walk into a golf shop. It's like divine intervention. First thing I see, I didn't even realize they were big in the golf game like that.
Massive.
So, I loved them even more. Saw those in the golf shop. Again, guys, for you out there, and again, I'm a big hat guy. Blake's a big hat guy. Take it from us. Best hats in the game, whether you're tailgating, you're on the golf course, you're heading out for date night, you're at the ball game, at the beach, whatever it might be, Melon's got you covered again. It's been my new favorite hat. Been wearing it for the last couple of weeks. No sweat stains, no smell. It looks the same as the day you take it out of the box. Really, really cool, by the way. I've never seen this in either hat. They have a warm weather option and a cool weather option.
Yes.
The hydro collection for the summer months, the thermal collection for the winter months. So they got everything you need if you're looking for a hat as tough as you. Check out Melon. You won't want to wear anything else after you get one for yourself. Looking for the world's most durable hat, look no further. Go to melon.com. That's melin.com and put it to test yourself. Once again, melon.com, melin.com. Check it out. Tell them Chris and Blake from To Your Point, SEC Unfiltered sent you, which, by the way, Blake's a great segue into this week. Thursday, it'll officially go live. We are jumping on the same podcast hosting network with our boy Blake Ruffino, the Believe Network. We have not made that announcement publicly yet. So this is the first public announcement of that. So really excited to jump on with our guys. My guy Blake helped set it up. Obviously, shout out to the entire team over there at Believe. Really, really pumped to be working with them. Nothing will really change for the consumers of this show or SEC Unfiltered as a whole. You guys, it's more of kind of a behind-the-scenes thing, but you will hear us talking about some different partners we'll be working with. And, again, a great team supporting us as we continue to scale and grow, especially on the audio side of things, also the video side of things, everything in between. So really pumped and excited, man. Excited to be on the Believe Network. And it's going to be really, really cool. I know you're already doing this, Blake, so you can speak to it. But the way that Believe is going to help us obviously be push our product, push our brand, push us individually on different shows and different platforms that I'm stoked for it, man. Really excited. So we'll be publicly announcing that on social media here in the coming days. But first public announcement, that's happening this week. So
this is what I wrote in my notes because I thought you might bring this up. I am the podcast recruiting Nick Saban. I have landed the ultimate 5-star and Chris Phillips with SEC Unfiltered. Now, I say that, our good friend Brian, who's been the CEO and founder. Look, man, they do a fantastic job. Eric Weinberger does a fantastic job. And listen, there's not a bigger podcast platform that just gives you the reign and wants to succeed and wants to talk sports. Look, I've been offered to go a lot of different places and do a lot of different things, but Believe has definitely been there for me. I am so pumped to have you a part of the team. It's funny, Chris, you align with people that you want to align with, right? And you said something, your network is your net worth, right? And I know you've said that publicly before. I want as much talent on Believe as we can get. And I am so glad that this is happening. And listen, man, it is a college space that's being built here. SEC Unfiltered, Ruffino and Joe Show. There's a whole bunch of others. I am so pumped. And look, they have been fantastic. And listen, if you're doing a podcast out there, just go ahead. And look, man, the stuff that's coming down the way with Believe, some pundits would scoff at it, but it's going to be, as the kids call it this way, generational. Okay, it's going to be generational. So hop on over to Believe.
Yeah, I'm super pumped, man. It's people that make the difference, and I did a lot of, obviously had a lot of conversations with you, some others, with our guy Braun, like you mentioned, and heck, man, he stayed in touch with me over the last few years, trying to really recruit me over to that side. And so when it came time, man, it was a pretty easy decision. So I'm fired up, dude. I'm fired up. It's a really big deal for us as a business. Like I said, for the consumer out there, not a ton will change, obviously, but
just an ad read here and there.
Yeah, just an ad read here and there. But it's a shot in the arm for the business. It's another. We're keeping the momentum going back to the the FanDuel and the Game Time partnerships we signed earlier this year, and now here in April. Taking off Q2 really on a really high note.
Week for this to be happening.
Yeah.
Then you coming down to Baton Rouge, baby.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Back in BR. Hey.
Hey, by the way, when
LaBerge Casino hate to see me coming.
Oh, dude, when you announced that you were coming in, the owner of Pyrans literally lit a cigarette and was so excited. He lit a cigar, lit a cigarette. He's like, "Oh, I know Blake's coming into town." He lit it. Hey, you think I'm joking? The guy that runs the place texts me because I tweeted. He goes, "Oh, hell yes, I know your big ass will be in here now." I'm like, "You damn right I'm gonna be in here now."
Yeah, we had the crawfish etouffee last time. We'll have to go with the other go-to on the menu.
We gotta get you some crawfish, man. We gotta
So that's the big thing happening this week is I've never actually had just true.
It's peak season, right?
It's peak season for crawfish. We had to do it. Yeah, no, it's going to be a blast. This weekend
over there to Willie's. Big pause, but Big Willie got them crawfish now.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting in town on Thursday. It's going to be a blast. Obviously, the series is going to be electric. Got word, by the way, Blake, I hadn't even told you this, that our good friend and LSU baseball legend, Mikey Matuk, throwing a big tailgate on Saturday. So we have been invited to that if you would like to join. So going to be linking up with Mikey. Might even be playing golf with Mikey on Thursday. Funny enough. So
their baseball knowledge on their show, and I try to retweet as much as I can. I mean, you got two All-Americans that are talking about LSU baseball. I don't know how many other fan bases have that. LSU baseball is spoiled.
Yeah.
By the way, which brings up a point I want to throw your way. You know, people are pissed off that LSU didn't sweep Bama this week.
Oh God. Oh, I know. Oh, you would have thought LSU lost the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I saw your tweets, obviously, but we talked about that on the Monday windup where I was like, you know, our bi-weekly college baseball show, where I said it's like, yeah, LSU won the series, but there's just still this. It's kind of like when you eat and you're full, but you're not satisfied. That's right. LSU. It's like they won the series, but they're very unsettled still. And I think a big reason, and this kind of segues into what we're going to close out with, is talking some SEC baseball. I think it kind of stems back to the fact that LSU's had one really big opportunity on a grand scale, and they lost 2 or 3 to Texas. I mean, you could call Auburn too, I guess. I don't know if I'd put that on a grand scale, but they got swept there. So there hasn't been, in my opinion, a series victory to like wash out that taste. Like beating Bama 2 of 3, it's not really going to move the needle all that much. Now you have the opportunity this weekend.
Yes.
You take 2 or 3 from Tennessee. I think some of the demons will be exercised a little bit. I think some
people
LSU
will
folks
calm down.
Yes, people will calm down a little bit. I mean, and the way the Bama series went, Blake, I mean, that series very much could have gone the other way. This was a wacky weekend for SEC baseball. Like, and I say shame on me because going in, my picks were very, very safe. It felt like, okay, this weekend kind of feels, I don't want to say obvious, but it just felt like, yeah, this 2 + 2 is 4 kind of weekend. Dude, it was anything but that. I mean, you got Kentucky taking 2 or 3 from Tennessee, South Carolina taking 2 or 3 from Ole Miss, you know, Texas A&M taking 2 of 3 from Arkansas on the road. I mean, it was just every single, you know, it felt like every big upset that could happen happened. Which leads us into, Blake, the only thing that's been a certainty this season is Texas is whooping everybody's ass. I mean, they're 16-2 in conference, 33-5, I believe, is the overall record. And now you're seeing it on social media. It started over the weekend. The Texas A&M rivalry, feud, banter, drama, madness on social media has officially begun. Again, it started over the weekend. I know you got a lot of thoughts here, Blake, as we close out with this because, and you know, it's interesting. So, you know, Billy Lucci goes on public record on his show, throws a jab Texas's way. I'll give Billy one thing, and you and I both have this ability too, which is so funny. But like, we have the ability to really get the timeline going. So I give credit to people who are able to do that, like really able to get people riled up. And Billy Lucci is one of those people because he makes the comment about Texas's schedule. And schedule talk's been a big topic of conversation with them. Football. You brought this up before the season even started. And, you know, Texas people came at you for it. Whatever. That's beside the point. And I'm in this really interesting spot for me personally, Blake, where, and it's the sweet spot. Half of the Texas fan base thinks I'm an Aggie homer. And half of the A&M fan base thinks I'm a Texas homer. So it's just like you're right there pitted in the middle between these groups of people, which is totally fine. It's very fun. You want to be right there in the middle in that sweet spot. But I waited 24 hours. I saw what Billy had to say, and I just felt compelled to say something. And I actually, you know, you said it too, Blake. Like, here's the thing. Texas is very good. They are elite. They deserve to be the number 1 team in the country. Yep. They deserve to be number 1 in our power rankings. Like, they are the best team in the SEC, hands down.
Yep.
Have they also benefited from, it feels like, every single big series is on their home field?
Well, okay.
You'd be crazy not to say yes because it's – and I give them credit. You went to Kentucky and took 2 out of 3. Awesome. Because they felt like I was disrespecting.
Tennessee could not take 2 or 3 from Kentucky.
They felt like I was disrespecting the Kentucky series win. Hey, you did that. But it does feel like, because it's like A&M series coming up, and people on the timeline are like, oh my God, like another series at Dish Falk? I mean, it's worked out well for them. It is not why Texas is good, but I don't know why it's such a big deal to acknowledge. Like, yeah, I mean, And it goes back to the bigger point. And look, this is not Texas's fault. You've made this point, Blake. This is not Texas's fault. Texas should not apologize for this. But you cannot sit here and convince anyone that the SEC did not at least somewhat go out of their way to make sure that Texas had a smooth transition into the league, had every opportunity to have a smooth transition into the league. You just can't. You cannot tell me that. Like, and it's okay. Two things can be true at once, as my guy Dave Shoemate loves to say. The SEC did that, and Texas has taken advantage, and that they deserve credit for taking advantage of it. But yeah, it was kind of funny, and I'll let you take it because you were like 3 months early on this, Blake.
Well, that's what people who actually do this for a living do. Now
they get out ahead of it. Yeah.
Well, Chris, I was not going to include you in this because you do it for a living too, but I do this for a living. Like everybody will say, like, just because you have a microphone doesn't make you better. You didn't look at 3 months ago when I was on this show and brought it up. Nobody knew that about the schedule. No one. They didn't know. Okay, let me start off with this because there was banter on Twitter between me and Billy Lucci. And a couple of times from Billy's own account, which I have not taken personal shots at him personally. Show me where I've taken personal shots at him publicly. I'm not going to say I haven't done it privately because he's called me out. But publicly, he's told people to stop watching our content. He's told people a whole bunch of crazy shit about me, only for you to fucking go out there and listen. I will debate, talk to him to his face. I don't give a flying shit. I don't hate the man. But you can't go out there and then dog my ass in reference to that and then come back 2.5 months later and talk about it because it's a team that you hate and you loathe, and now it benefits you because your team's got to go on the road. The truth always was, and their argument was, A&M fans' argument was, well, you said LSU is the pinnacle of SEC baseball. That's what you're arguing with. My guy, my brothers and sisters in Christ, who is? Who is?
Yeah.
Skip Bertman.
The title speak.
Skip Bertman is football's Bear Bryant. And LSU now hopes that Jay Johnson is their Nick Saban. But you can't, it's not a debate. A&M is? You're mad because I said that you don't have a natty, bud. Okay. So in the point, everybody was saying, Billy included, I didn't like that you said they were pinnacle of baseball. That's fine. But you looked at this and said, when you told people to stop watching our content, which let's go look at live numbers. We're exactly the same, AYS Sports and Texags. But there also comes a point here, too, where you're trying to say, oh, well, now we got to go on the road just in case that we lose to Sloss, that, well, Texas has been benefited from this. You were warned 2.5 months ago. You were warned. Now, you said something about Texas. Let's get in. And listen, Billy has built a company unmatched in that market. No one can match it. Arguably, no one can match what he's built at his institution in the SEC. Like from the end of it, no one has done that. Okay. That's number one. Kudos to him. Love what he's built. Don't take personal shots. Next time that comes down, I will make a public announcement. Do it again. Do it again. I am done trying to talk sports. You disagree with me with the sports take, and you came out Encino Man, beard, you made fun of weight. Buddy, let's not talk about facial hair and weight. Okay, let's not go there. But there also comes a point in time, let's get to Texas. Okay, in reference to Texas, there's no way humanly possible that you can look at what happened in football and in baseball and say that, like you mentioned, that there was not a smooth transition. There is no way. Chris, every single tough opponent they have at home. Look around the SEC. When
they will finally get one difficult on the road next weekend at Arkansas. But it is May. it is May. You know
exactly. 4 out of the 5 tough games in series that you have, 4 of them is at home. 4 of them. Now people will say, "Well, next year it's not like that because you'll flip." No.
You think that's that way because of the way that football is structured. Chris, as an example, I threw it in the video in 2.5 months ago. LSU goes back to South Carolina at the end of the year. This will be the third straight time that LSU is going on the road to Columbia. By the way, here's another thing. When I talked about LSU, they've gone to Texas in Austin 4 straight times. The fact that you did not know that is why I keep getting pissed off about Greg Sankey and the scheduling and all that stuff. Let's call a spade a spade. Texas was the team that they needed to come in here to boost revenue for the SEC and specific things. And they gave them an easy schedule. Now, to your point, they have 1,000% built off of that. They are, Chris, 3 weeks ago, I tweeted this. We talked about it. I said that I did not think that Tennessee should be over Texas after the LSU series. Got hate for that. And I defended Texas, but that one doesn't go viral.
You defended Texas also when the debate between them and Arkansas.
1,000%. Yeah. I retweeted and said, I'm going to place this here. I'm going to place this here. Two things, as Dave says, to your point, two things can be true at once. Are they playing the best baseball right now? Maybe. What happened with the big lefty, the Friday night guy?
Jared Spencer. He is out this weekend against A&M.
Okay. They have some injury issues. A&M can go, and I just from a baseball perspective.
I wanted to get your take on A&M, and are you buying back in?
I'm taking A&M. I'm taking A&M. Something's clicked. I think that the Tennessee series built their momentum. When
the return of Caden Sorrell, they've been different.
They've
been different.
Exactly what I was going to. Sorrell coming back, but the chase slide you let. Thank you, sweet Jesus, for if you're an A&M fan. The home run against Tennessee when you got no hit the night before. Tell me, Chris, you do realize they put this stat up last weekend with A&M. You do know that they're hitting 370 since that home run collectively as a team. 370.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if it's Sorrell's return or a combination of things, but I mean, one of their biggest reasons for their resurgence, your dudes have got to be dudes, and he's been a flat out dude, man. He has looked like
the number one pick.
He's looked like the 1-1. He's looked like 1-1
without a doubt.
Yeah,
I am taking A&M because I do think that they're playing the best baseball in the country. They're playing the best baseball in the country. Okay, Texas is hurt. They're wounded. Okay, and I if they can take the series from A&M, holy shit, we're talking about a really damn good team because they got injuries and they came back and were able to win it. This is gonna be a hell of a series. This
weekend in the SEC is gonna be nuts.
That's what I'm about to say. You do know that this is separation weekend. It is separation weekend. LSU at Tennessee, then you got LSU and Arkansas coming up. And listen, for A&M, we talked about their brutal schedule. You got Texas this weekend, then you got LSU coming to town. I
can't wait to talk next week if A&M beats Texas and get a gauge on your nerves.
No, let me get them. No, I'm telling you now, I told you this off air. I'm nervous about them now. I would be nervous about them if they lose to Texas. Chris, when you hit like that, you better be nervous. You better be. And look, what Auburn, what Texas did to Auburn is elite. You swept the top 10 team. But again, it's not, Chris, they had LSU, Georgia, Auburn, and Texas A&M all at home.
All these top 10 teams at Dish Falk. Yeah.
All at home.
And listen, again, you're 16-2. It ain't no fluke, but two things can be and are true at once. Texas is elite. The schedule has been conducive for them to be 16-2.
Pause. What did the teams that are getting upset? Where are they losing? On the road or at home?
It's hard to win on the road.
It's hard to win. So when we make
it's hard to win on the road in these big time environments. Yeah,
no doubt. And Chris, I got called soft. How am I being soft when they made that schedule and every top 10 opponent besides one's at home?
I'll tell you this, and I'm not. If Texas ends up in Omaha, I'd be happy to see it. Be cool. We've got a lot of great connections with them, with Max Weiner and Nolan Kane and that entire. Yeah, I know. I know. I hope to see the Weiner in Omaha, but my only thing poking a hole in Texas, you almost wonder, Blake, have they peaked too early? You do wonder that because
massive question.
You'd almost, I'm sure as an LSU fan, it's like LSU fans take solace in this. You'd rather be a little colder right now and catch fire in a month. You'd rather do that. Like you don't want to. You don't want to peak too early. You do not want to peak too early in this sport because you are going to go cold at some point. Ask 2022 Tennessee how that worked out.
Yeah, I mean, they went the one series that it's so great that you brought that up. You know, when I was talking about LSU baseball last night, I brought up that exact same series with Notre Dame in 2022.
Yeah.
The one weekend that their bats went cold.
Yeah.
But look, man, Texas is hurt too. They got a lot of injuries. If they go on a run here, see, the question would be, when is your slump going to hit, and then how do you overcome the injuries?
Yeah,
that's going to be a massive thing here. But I think A&M's playing the best ball. I am taking A&M to win that series. I'm going with that. Look, when you when you have your Friday night guy not pitching in the weekend, I do wonder. And here's the thing too, I do think A&M has built the right momentum, and now you have the right momentum, and now you're up. Your last year's head coach is across the way. But let's say this too now. You know Schloss wants this one too. You know he wants it, and he's going to bring everything he's got at you. He knows Michael Early better than anybody. So, it's going to be a hell of a series. It's going to be a hell of a weekend for baseball. But I'm just praying to God that we get a LSU A&M series, both of them coming off of wins, and we got a slobber knocker and Bluebell. That'd be very fun. Very fun.
Yeah. I'll drop my pick on Thursday on the windup, but it's going to be electric. Guys, we got to get out of here. Before we do, though, I want to say about our friends over at FanDuel. The wait is over. Baseball season's finally here, and you can start the season strong on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now FanDuel is celebrating the return of baseball by giving new customers $250 in bonus bets. If your first $5 bet wins, FanDuel has so many ways for you to get in on the action, from hits to steals to home runs. They've got a lineup filled with all your favorite bets, or if pitching is more your thing, FanDuel has a deep bullpen of bets from strikeouts to shutout innings. So when you place your first bet, it can be on almost anything, and if it hits, you'll get $250 in bonus bets. When you do, just visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today. That's FanDuel.com/SECU. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 and up and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and up and present in D.C. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 sport in Massachusetts, or call 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Blake, you're the man. Can't wait to see you in a couple short days. We're going to go ahead and run. I got radio to do. We stay busy over here on this side. I know Blake does as well. Blake, you're the man. We'll be making some content live from Baton Rouge here in a few short days. To your point, on site, on location. Cannot wait. LSU, Tennessee, Baton Rouge, the place to be. And we are going to be there firsthand for one of the most electric weekends. I'd probably call it the most electric weekend of the SEC baseball season. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. For Blake Ruffino, I'm Chris Phillips. Guys, again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, check us out via podcast, where you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. Episode 3, to your point, officially in the books. He's Blake Ruffino. I'm Chris Phillips. Until next week, we'll catch you on the side. Y'all take care.